Nothing beats being in the right place at the right time if you're an entrepreneur. And here's a bit of evidence that we are. One of the biggest, most prestigious German automobile manufacturers was looking at an IoT solution that they had just installed, and they gave this amazing quote: "This is the best thing since the wheel." And if you make cars, then that's pretty high praise. Well, this week we've got a fabulous guest, Dr. Karsten Koenigstein, who is the founder and CEO of Symphosci, who are a really innovative German IoT company that's focused on manufacturing. And they have sprung out of one of the world's centers of excellence for manufacturing with a use case that is really driving IoT in a big way. Check out this conversation. I think you'll find it really useful. Karsten, welcome to the Mr. Beacon podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Steve. I'm watching your podcast for a long time, and I really encouraged to be here. Thank you.
Oh, well, I was excited to have you join for multiple reasons. You know, I just came back from Nuremberg at the Embedded World Conference, and I was just struck by, it reminded me of Germany's incredible position in terms of engineering and manufacturing excellence. We were kind of driving past the Audi factory and seeing all of these beautiful German cars on the roads, and manufacturing has become fashionable again. I think since COVID, since the tariffs that have caused so much turbulence, and also since this recent war, I think everyone has become more conscious that having a effective, vibrant manufacturing sector is super important. And, you know, back at Wiliot, when we were looking at the emerging ambient IoT standards, I noticed that the biggest contributor to ambient IoT standards in 3GPP was Chinese companies. And obviously, Germany has a real rival now in terms of the Chinese, and who've gone from like sweatshops and low tech to, you know, they're up there competing with you. And so you are coming to us from the land of manufacturing excellence, and you decided to focus on Industry 4.0. And so I'm fascinated to hear from you about what you're doing, what you're learning, what you're seeing, the technology you've chosen, the business problems that you're fixing. So maybe we should just start off and say, what are the key problems that you saw when you were starting your company that you wanted to solve?
Yeah. In fact, it comes from the beginning of my career. I was a consultant in production and logistics. This is more than 30 years ago. And how you do it? Tool number one, tool number two. Yeah, so piece of paper and a pen, and then you go down, and then you make these WEFA or multi-moment analysis stuff as a consultant. You stand next to the machine and try to understand what's happening, or you're trying to follow the forklift fleet to see what they are moving from A to B to C to find potential for optimization. Because you need all this data. Yeah, it's like at Wiliot. You need all this data in order to have a basis to optimize something, because if you do it otherwise, it's just by your gut feeling, and gut feeling is okay to a certain extent. But when it comes to facts, gut feeling is not sufficient.
Yeah.
So it was always the idea what to do. And when I have been at Bosch at the IoT environment, we thought a lot about devices that can monitor anything. Yeah, and I know the first Industry 4.0, when it was mentioned, we at Bosch, we wrote a part of this Industry 4.0 story. We handed out to our Chancellor Merkel. And at the Hanover Fair, what starts next week, by the way, or week after next, everybody who had a plug or anything named it Industry 4.0. Yeah, everything was Industry 4.0. From now to then, Marketing
Yes.
renamed anything. Like
It's
now
like an
with
AI.
physical
We're all
AI.
AI companies now. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have physical AI, and that time it was Industry 4.0. But there was no solution you could that time plug and play, install, and it was really, really, really complex to do that and very expensive. Bosch, okay, could do that. Yeah, they had a machine they wanted to optimize and named it Smart Manufacturing Industry 4.0, and they got any budget for that. Yeah, and there always was an optimization, but it was just for this one machine. Yeah, the sensor solutions came from Pepperl and Fuchs and Torque and IFM and SICK and whatever, Siemens. And you had the PLC and some cable and connection, and then you had it. What was always missing was the logistics part. Yeah, which part moved from where to where to where, how long it was laying, how long it was processing. All this information is very, very important for value stream mapping, for example, or even to understand not how the process should have been, but how it really was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So ground truth, you only get ground truth through
Correct.
sensors and sensing.
Correct. And from the very beginning, we experimented with Raspberry Pi and Arduino, and all this stuff is not production ready. But we found the production ready device. What is this? It's called smartphone. And it has anything. It has sensors. It has computation power. And this is something that is pretty interesting if you think through it. It's IP68, so you can operate it underwater. So in any, and we have thousands of these devices now outside. This is very interesting stuff.
Well, this is I think part of the essence of ambient IoT is we have all of this infrastructure around us, and let's take away the cost of deployment by using what's already there because it's so rich in connectivity and sensing.
Correct. Yeah, and it can do so many things. When you think I need to fulfill this use case or this use case, you find always a solution. But there must be a price point someone is able to pay. Yeah, same like for vision systems. There are so many use cases companies could do, but when the vision system always costs $250,000, yeah, then you better put a person next to the machine and let them do the quality inspection or move it, instead of a robot, whatever,
So you have this phone infrastructure, but the problem with the phone is it's in people's pockets and not necessarily in their hands all the time, although maybe that's not true anymore. It seems like as I see people walk around, they're just like walking like that with
In fact, we use them as static devices.
So
not the latest ones, but the X-Cover series one from Samsung, for example. Why? This is IP68. It's ruggedized and it has military grade. And we really screw them to the machine, and we then read the built-in sensors to read like a retrofit. Yeah, to read machine information. So it's very simple. If you have a coffee machine and you put your hand on the coffee machine, and you don't hear it, and you don't see it, you feel when coffee is produced, when the beans are grinded, when the coffee is prepared, when the milk foam is prepared, and the mobile sees that 1,000 times more precise because the sensors are insane that are inside of these mobiles. So for the machine data, we really do that. And for the logistics, and this is something William did similar. We are working with these nice little tiny things, what is called a beacon, Bluetooth beacon. And we use as antennas, we use smartphones. So we really screw them to the walls as receivers or anchors or whatever you call it, depends on the technology you're working on. And we are working with this since 2019 in production environments with a precision of 1 square meter with RSSI. Since 2019. This is very good.
Interesting.
Still not enough. Yeah, but it's interesting. And we have customers, they say, no, 1 square meter, and it's still not precise. It's not lying at this 1 square meter because it's jumping, because it's statistics that is calculating all this information.
Right.
We need a process secure solution. And we were thinking, and we came out with the most precise, most affordable, and fastest RTLS worldwide now. And it's done with Who knows? Oh, you don't see it, no? Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
bad,
it's a
not
little
good.
difficult to see because of
Yeah,
that.
it's a
but,
QR code. So it's a QR code.
QR code. Okay.
It's a QR code. No, it's just, no, sorry. It's
We
a
got a
QR, but you
glimpse
know
of
how
it.
a QR code looks like, yeah?
We do.
Yeah. And we get from a video stream of a smartphone, it has cameras, yeah, so we can do video stream constantly. We get X, Y, and Z data just from the video stream. So we see how this information is flowing through the area. How these
Yes.
parts and where they are and how long they are and all this information you need for the digital twin for AI to be processed there. So we deliver this data.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I love those. So I'm sort of thinking about three legs of the stool. You're actually taking the smartphones, which have these just crazy levels of sensing capabilities because we make them, we make hundreds of millions of them, and they really the best manufacturing and cost savings. So you're leveraging that.
Yep.
You're leveraging Bluetooth beacons for 1 meter level accuracy. And when people want more accuracy, then you're basically using visual techniques to, you can get down to millimeter accuracy with that.
It's definitely millimeters or centimeters in the worst case. We can do that if you need it from 100 meter distance.
Yeah.
So we really mount them on the ceiling of the production halls or the site now also, what was more complex. And then we see where these QR codes are, and we can then we associate them to any asset we want to track. Yeah, so it's like scan. So there's a production order or anything what you want to connect it with. You make a scan, and then it's connected, and then we follow this QR code. And when we know where this QR code is, we know where this asset is we are following.
Okay, so I get ground truth, and I get the three legs of the stool in terms of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
What are the main use cases that you've focused on? So how long has your company been working for?
The company is around since 2015, but the first solution with Sintra was always the localization for the intralogistics. Started with 2019. From a discussion, I was at one of these smart manufacturing conferences, and the managing director from Altrad wasn't sitting next to me. Altrad is producing scaffold. So this is metal and it's welding. So this is the worst environment for radio. Worst. Yeah, it cannot get worse because you have any radio frequency when you weld, and you have metal everywhere. And they said, we tried everything. We tried with ultra wideband, we tried with RFID, and nothing is working. And we have all these boxes with metal pieces, and we need to know where it is. I just say, I have this nice little thing in my pocket. It's a beacon, and we do that. We had nothing that time. Yeah, it was 2017. And then we started 2 years of development. And we came out with Sintra, and it's still in production since then, since 2019, and it's an interesting solution. It helps to optimize stockpiles. Yeah, it shows when you have inventory once a year or once every month, depends where you will find what. All this is very valuable information. It shows you how much parts are in which area of your facility. If you have 100,000 square meters, we simply replace search by find. This is what it does.
Okay.
And this is very simple use case for search by find. Is I know where it is before I was looking.
Okay, find my scaffolding. Presumably, there's different kinds of scaffolding.
Yeah.
People order a batch of a certain kind, and I imagine the facilities are huge. So you're, and actually, when I was, I can't say the name of the company. I was visiting Germany, and it was the best trip. We got to visit the best motor manufacturers in the world, nearly all of them, and. One of the things I found is they lose cars. They have these cars that are worth 100,000 euros, and they make so many of them. And where are they? And so it's amazing, this basic problem of losing them. And I see it across so many different industries,
Everywhere.
whether it's, I've seen huge pipes, even bigger than scaffolding, people losing them, batches of paper, ceramic parts for exhaust pipes. It's just incredible. So double click and just let me know how typically, if I'm trying to find my scaffolding, how does your solution help?
Yeah, we marry a beacon or a QR code, doesn't matter. It's for the platform, it's the same, with something the people know. So it's a production order, it's a production QR code, barcode, whatever. So there's a match. You can enrich it with more information from the ERP, like for which customer is it, which color it has, is there some other part that belongs to it, is there some production date when it has to be finished, or. And then you can search in our system. I look for material 5mm steel, production stage 2, and then it pops up all the locations where it finds this material.
Okay.
Yeah, or you search for production order 4711, and then it says it's located there. Yeah, or you say I need everything that I need for production order 4711. Which parts are and in which boxes are they currently? And it gives you all the locations of these boxes where you need it, where you need to go, and where do you find. Yeah.
And how does your system figure out where it is?
Yeah, it's this beacon. So for with the beacons or with the QR code, since QR codes we are up now for 6 months. We have a dozen customers already with that. Some of the beacons migrated to the solution with the QR codes.
Amazing, interesting.
Yeah, we are tracking. Finally, we are tracking the beacons, and this is not possible. Why? Yeah, so there's a QR code behind, so you can match it with the production order, with whatever. And then we put this this beacon or the QR code to that box or to that pallet or to that whatever, and then we follow the radio signal in this case or the video signal in the other case.
Okay, and you're reading the signals with what? What is the receiver for the beacon? For the phone. So the phone, and how does the phone know where it is?
Yes.
So the phone sees the beacon.
There's our backend.
The phone knows where it is. How does the phone know where it is?
So how does it work? The setup, and it's very simple. We have Google Maps, and we place a map of the facility inside of Google Maps. Means we oriented. We say it's that size, and then it puts it simply in a Google Maps.
Okay.
And we put these devices then inside of that layout. We upload it. So we know by drag and drop, you just say, okay, it's at pillar number 5, it's at pillar number 7, it's at pillar number 9. And then you take this device and put it there. As we know where how the location of the facility is inside of Google Maps, we have a georeference, so long lat, for each of our devices. And we calculate them, or we use our geofence engine in order to locate things inside of this either Google Maps or inside of the facility, the hall, the production hall, or whatever.
So as an end user, I can use Google Maps in conjunction with your software to find the thing. So I'm looking for lot number 5002. I type it in. Your smartphones have been deployed and they're fixed to the wall, plugged in presumably to some power, and they're tracking where the beacons are. They're keeping track of the last seen location.
Correct.
And as an end user, I type in the lot number and I basically zoom in on Google Maps and I see where the thing is.
Correct. So simple as
Beautiful. that. Yeah. And this is, there's so many people that need that. And I've seen other technologies approach this, but I think it's all about how you make it easy and affordable. And one of the things I noticed on your website is you've kind of got a new take on SaaS as a kind of a financial model for this. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we call it system as a service. So what we deliver finally is a service. And in the area of IoT, Internet of Things, there are things involved. So we deliver not only the software, we also deliver the hardware. We take care that the hardware works. For this reason, we partner with Samsung. Why? Samsung has something that is called Samsung Knox. And it's like an MDM, or it's even more. It helps you to protect the data from Google. Because it's Android phones, and many companies have an issue deploying Android. They say every phone is fine as long as it's Apple. But Apple is way more expensive, I would say, way more. Because we also have very affordable devices. We use Samsung Knox in order to get a security layer. And it's certified by NSA, by German BSI, and other security agencies worldwide. And it's really protecting your data from Google. So it never appears somewhere at Google. It has other advantages. We can kill features like the microphone, because sometimes people say, okay, when you have the mobile phones, you can hear what we say. We can kill the camera. So it's not even in use. You cannot hear. It's self-protection and other things. So from this perspective, we did not invent the device smartphone again. Why? Because we cannot make it for that price point. No way. We have software deployment. We have a battery. We have connectivity. We have sensors. We have everything we need. And now we also have security. And the security is highest grade what you can get ever in production. No PLC from no company worldwide has the security level as these smartphones when you put these Samsung Knox on top of it. Done.
Okay, that's a great feature, and I see this as we're developing our own solution. With Ambient Chat, we decided to focus on Apple first because of the tech early adopters, and I'm like. Good. And then, of course, all of the people I speak to are like, "Oh, shame! I'm an Android guy," and so
but we also have the Apple guys. No, it's 1/3 Apple and 2/3 the rest of the world, but it's huge market. But our devices are not smartphones. Our devices is a reading device or a monitoring device or an anchor or whatever you can call it. We usually don't call it smartphone even. It's a smartphone.
It's some kind of bridge or gateway or reader. So that makes sense. And so going back to system as a service, I love that as a concept. So rather than looking at this thing, it's IoT, we're not sure about it. And there's I'm sure you find your inside sales guy, your champion, and they're like, I've got to make this more digestible by our chief financial officer. And so I can imagine that this recurring payment where you amortize presumably the cost of the hardware. But that means you're kind of taking a risk as you sign up customers. I guess it's moving the risk from their shoulders onto your shoulders.
To some extent, as it is not a customized solution on the hardware. The hardware just runs an app. The app has a lot of knowledge inside, definitely, but it's still an app, and the app can work for customer A or customer B. So we have this multi-company backend within our computing cluster and with failover and whatever you need. We have these devices and they can work for customer A or customer B or customer C. And as the customer does not need to care if this device is 1 year old or brand new or 2 years, we take care of it. After 3 years, we usually exchange it. Why? Because we get out of warranty. And after 3 years, we would need to take care of the warranty ourselves. Otherwise, Samsung is responsible. We don't do that. So we exchange them then. This is also in the plan. It's included. So we don't have issues with with our customers, with issues with their devices.
That's really good. Yeah, because if I'm buying, I want the new phone. if I'm just getting a system, then this infrastructure may change maybe every 2 years. You change it. That's kind of your problem. It's not mine. I don't mind if it's 1 year old or 10 years old, as long as the system is working.
We need to take care that the service runs, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so I think it's all coming together now. I love it. Can you maybe talk us through a few examples? You can change the names, but
Sure.
Examples of where you've deployed this and what the benefits were.
Yeah. Let's go with the latest, because RTLS is nothing new. You know that from ultra wideband and from other Bluetooth solutions with angle of arrival or whatever, doesn't matter, technology. Let's go to the QR codes, because this is really something that fills my mind, because it has so many use cases you couldn't do before. We have customers that have pallets 15 centimeters from each other, located at machine A and machine B, and it must be booked onto this machine because it's processing this. And so they will automatically start the process when the pallet is moved to the machine automatically. So they have no false booking, nothing from the employee. It simply knows now where it is.
And this is work in process. These pallets have the unfinished product, right?
Correct. They have the unfinished product. And the only possibility to do that, it's also metal environment, is with video and QR codes. It's no way to do that in that precision with RFID, with ultra wideband, or with Bluetooth. We tried everything because we are very, very much exact with our Bluetooth beacons, and we can even in the laboratory narrow it down to something like 20, 30 centimeters. But still, then you have jumping, because it's still statistics, and it's not lying still at this point. It just shows the
radio
point,
waves do that.
It's radio waves, it's absorption and reflection and all the nasty things it does. You know that from Riot. Yeah. It's like with RFID codes. If you move them in the right direction through the gates at the shopping centers, no shopping wall will find them. Yeah, it's simply as simple as that. And here we don't have this issue, because we have a QR code, and we find the center of the QR code with a camera from 7, 8, 10 meters distance in a live stream, and we know the ground truth. It's really truth. It's really lying there, and it's really moving just centimeters, if max.
And how do you make sure that the QR code is visible on the pallet?
Yeah, this is the interesting thing with this system. We are very fast. We are doing it in the video live stream. So we have up to 20 data points per second with a precision of centimeters or millimeters. Means if you have one code and you cover it and you don't have seen the lower one moving, you know it's still at this position.
Okay.
So we have stacking scenarios inside of our software that knows if you have 10 or 20 or whatever pieces stacked one over the other, we know still at which level you find that production order you have in there. Where do we need that? We have a customer that produces out of 100,000 parts one object. So one customer object, 100,000 parts. And they have a box in a box in a box in a box, and they're searching all the time. It's so embarrassing. And this can be, because we are so fast. It's a matter of precision and speed that helps you even if once a QR code is covered.
Right. So I don't want to read too much into this, but you say you have a pallet that has a number of products. Each one has a QR code, and you only need to read one of the QR codes, and because you know which product is on a specific pallet, any one of those can be read, and you can basically relate it back to the pallet. Is that what you're saying? Correct.
We are currently discussing, or not yet implemented because it's pretty new, with a lot of retail companies worldwide. And they always have the issue, if you see it in the supermarket, they get a bunch of 10, 20, whatever, boxes, pallets, whatever. Where is that what I need to fill into this position? When we when we see all the time when they pack this thing, the QR codes, then we know at which point in this pallet we find which good.
Okay. So this presumably implies that they have serialized these QR codes, that they actually, it's not just a product identifier, it's
No.
actually a unique identifier for
Correct.
either the batch or the product. What
Correct.
are the systems that you are typically tapping into? Because I'm assuming that you're not writing the full manufacturing software. Is there a certain family of products that you've plugged into in the past that you're focusing on?
Yeah, we plug into anything you can think of. So we have installations together with SAP, with Navision, with warehouse management systems, with MES systems. We have a REST service, and this can be consumed by anything. Yeah, because we know we are not the center of the IT universe. We just deliver data for other systems to be enriched with data. And we deliver simply the as precise as possible location of that during the whole time. So, and it works into both directions. I said you can search in our system, then we need the enrichment from the other system, or we just make a matching from their QR barcode, whatever, data matrix with our QR. And then after that, they look in their system, find it in our system, we give them the position, and this way it works that they can track all the time everything. So they have throughput times and processing times and all this information, what they never had, yeah, to be honest. Yeah? Because to have this in that precision, there is no possibility. Usually you scan that you put something into some bag, but you don't know where in this bag it is. Yeah. So you have the scanning information, but scanning is a manual process and it is not value adding anything to your product or service. It's just an additional time.
Yeah. So as given your system as a service model, then I guess I still need to think about cost, don't I? The cost of the precision and coverage, and how many of these phones do you need to deploy in, what kind of density?
Yeah.
Because that's going to drive the cost of the overall system.
Definitely. For the beacons, depends on the area. We need one phone for every 100 to 400 square meter for a precision of 1 square meter. Yeah. So this is not so much, I would say. It's pretty much okay. For the QR codes, it's more interesting. The interesting thing is with a smartphone, we have usually cameras of 12 megapixel, what you usually don't find at a reasonable price for industrial cameras. Also, we do the processing on the smartphone. So there is no NVIDIA tower we need. Yeah, we just process everything on the smartphone and just, it's GDPR also. No, we don't see people. We just see QR codes and we just send attributes. So XYZ, a timestamp and a device ID. And it depends on what the camera sees. So there is the normal camera, and you can say that we can do from 3 meters ceiling height, what is not too high. Yeah? For industrial hall, it's not that much. We see about 15 square to 20 square meters. That's not that much. But if you go, we have customers that have 26 meter high ceilings. We can cover 900 square meter with a smartphone. With one smartphone, 900 square meters. So this is not much hardware we need. And then there is another thing we are currently working on. It's the ultra-wide angle camera. It covers 4 times the area with the same hardware.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing we have to take care of is the size of the tracker then.
Sorry, the size of
the QR code, because we need a certain size of pixels in order to still understand this QR code.
And then presumably you have like cable drops or rods from the ceiling if you need to suspend a camera in a given place, or how do you actually physically put the cameras where they need to be?
you have to mount them somehow. There are industrial mounting systems from RAM, for example, from the US. That's really cool. It's a partner of ours. It's ruggedized things with either induction charging or with cables, but you don't need a lot of power. You can get it from any lighting. You just need 230 or 110 volts, and you only need 5 volts, 2 amps. That's it. Finally on the smartphone.
So do you need an electrician to do it, or can you just have someone?
Depends. If there is a plug, we don't need an electrician. Yeah.
Right.
On the other side, you can do Wi-Fi or you can do GSM. That's also interesting. If your hall does not have Wi-Fi, you'd simply put a very cheap SIM card into it.
Yes.
We are fine with 2 gigabytes per month. So this is not a lot of data. It's something like $5 or so. It's cheaper to equip some of the smartphones with GSM cards than setting up Wi-Fi.
Yeah, very good. Well, this is so cool. And I have to ask the geeky question about the beacons. It's in the name of the podcast, so I've got to ask.
Yeah, sure.
What are the protocols that you're using on these beacons? Is it iBeacon or?
It's an iBeacon. Definitely, it's iBeacon. Yes.
Yeah.
But we are only using the RSSI, so the field strength.
Yeah.
So we are just reading what it is emitting, and we know that this beacon has this ID. We have our own ID we use, what is not very much different from others, but we just have a simplified UUID, what we use.
Yes.
Where we encode the customer and the container or the pallet or the asset.
Okay.
But it never changes. It's always but it's RSI. What is the interesting thing? So there is nothing special hardware with antenna arrays or anything of these what we use for the beacons.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, this is amazing, Karsten. I really appreciate it. Is there any last things that you want to cover before we wrap it up? I think you've given us a great picture of the problem you're solving and how you're solving it. And I'm very optimistic for you because, the more you do this, then you're able to speed things up with more plugins, more existing integrations so that you can get something working faster and cheaper. And I'm sure you're getting the benefit of that.
Yes. Yeah. What I wanted to say is we have one automotive customer that said it's the greatest thing since invention of the wheel. What I really loved for the QR codes, because
from an automotive customer, and they know wheels.
Why I love this? Why? Because they said finally it's an affordable solution. We have so many use cases we cannot fulfill with ultra wideband or with Bluetooth, and there is nothing more affordable than a printed tracker. Nothing. If you print something on a piece of paper, costs are close to nothing. Not nothing, close to nothing. And I think the use cases are broad. And we are really working with partners here because we cannot be specialists in pharmaceuticals, in medical, in whatever. That's not our task. So we are the ones delivering the technology, but all the use cases, we deliver the data, and the use cases can be implemented by partners. This is very important. And we filed since November last year when we started it, something like 20 partners internationally with companies that have 15,000 people or so in the area of logistics, in the area of healthcare, in the area of retail, in the area. So because there is a demand everywhere. And you know that from Elliot.
Yeah. And so in terms of your geographic focus, obviously Germany is the heart of engineering excellence. It's actually where the machines are made that make the RFID tags, Mullbauer and so forth. But what is your geographic focus?
As of today, we have about 180 customers in 15 countries, from Japan over Singapore, over India, over Europe, over North America and Mexico.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in South America. There's nothing in Australia. I wanted to go to Australia, but then someone started a war, and the airport at Qatar went down,
no.
and there was no plane going there. This means we have no focus. It's data. It's context data. It's 3D data we deliver, and we don't care where it is deployed, because as long as Samsung is in that country, and we prefer Samsung over the others because we know it's working. It's not going like a ball from the battery standpoint and stuff like this. So it's a high quality hardware. We don't care. So it's really available worldwide.
Well, I think like any good buzzword, people will argue over the definition. But I do define ambient in really broad terms. It's kind of this philosophy, as I mentioned, where you're leveraging this pervasive technology. And yes, ambient can mean energy harvesting from Bluetooth for Bluetooth trackers. But I really think the important part of it is the pervasiveness, the reducing of cost, and the using of the technology that surrounds us. And I think by that definition, even with your QR code solution, the fact that you're using these incredibly powerful cameras that are just ridiculously cheap in these devices that are also incredibly affordable would put you into at least my definition of ambient. So congratulations on pioneering in ambient IoT. And Karsten, one of the questions I love asking our guests is how they got their current job, or maybe put another way, what was your evolution as an entrepreneur? I'm really interested. I've always been a huge fan of Bosch products. So how did that feature in your deciding to start your own company?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my career started, by profession, I'm a chemist. But it was always the question, what do I study? Is it economics? Is it IT? Or is it chemistry? But it was chemistry because it was close to my home. It was one of the best chemistries in Germany. Therefore, it was chemistry, and I love chemistry, to be honest. But I was the first one putting the chemical institutes to the internet that time. So long time ago. And why we did that? Because we used the computers in Australia to calculate our structures. It was an interesting thing. They had much faster computers than we had, and so we used over the internet to, it was interesting stuff. Then I started, after my chemistry career, as a consultant, production and logistics, because it's always about processes. After that, I did for 10 years. We had 150 consultants. Then I built and sold software companies for 10 years, one to Palo Alto, to a company called Intalio, and the latest one to Bosch. And with Bosch, I was 5 years vice president for everything that has been to do with IoT, Internet of Things. Bosch called it Internet of Things and Services at that time. And they had made their own, Bosch is big in semiconductors. They do a lot of semiconductors, MEMS, so the acceleration stuff and temperature sensors and other things for automotive. But in smartphones, there's a dozen of sensors, and so they are also big in these. So even more sensors go to smartphones than to cars. Many more. It's hundreds and millions of these sensors. But an entrepreneur like me and a big conglomerate as Bosch, there is a misfit. It's like in a rowboat and trying to steer a tanker. It's not really going to work. After 4.5 years, I quit at Bosch and started my next company, and this is Synfosy. In fact, I have two in the moment, Synfosy and Mobile Vision Technology. But this is in a nutshell the career I did. It's my sixth startup also.
Amazing. Europe isn't synonymous with startups. It seems like the folks in Tel Aviv and the Bay Area have cornered the branding, but it's great to hear that there's real evidence of a lot of startups there. And I completely understand I'm sure there was a lot of pride in becoming part of Bosch. This is an incredible brand. And I felt the same way. I worked at a company that was bought by IBM, and it was like it was a 3,000 person company, suddenly part of a 300,000 person company. And
Yeah.
you went from saying, oh, this is my company that I work at and no one's heard of it. And then you say, oh, I work at IBM, and people will tell you a story about their first IBM typewriter or whatever. And it was probably similar.
Yeah, it was even worse because we have been 125 people and then we have been 500,000 people. So this was another scale, even worse. Yeah. So, yeah, and the CEO, Mr. Denner, that time said, "Oh, and you are our robot, and you now help us get faster and more agile." And I said, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there are limits to what you can do with a company that large, and if you're used to being your own boss and making the decisions, it's very difficult.
Yeah, we had 2 stages of decision making in the startup, or it was 10 years old, and then we all of a sudden had like 15, for decision making to getting out an offer. This is simply, but you have to do it in such a big conglomerate due to compliance. You have to do it, and there is no way not to do it. Simple.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Karsten. And now on to the most personal part of the show, which is your choice of 3 songs. What was your first song that you chose that has meaning for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of songs, and I love music. I'm not good in playing music, but I'm singing when I'm alone in the car, so not to hurt anybody.
Me too.
But I think Eye of the Tiger really hits the spot, from Survivor. Why? Because it shows what you do inside of a startup. Yeah, it's really about fight. It's about changing directions, to be agile, and all this stuff. What you see in connection with when you hear the song, you see Rocky, right? And you see him dancing in the ring, and this is something that really fits to what you do in a startup, I think.
Wonderful choice. Very good. And number 2?
Number 2, even it did not work in all of my companies well. So 2 did not make it, but 4 are doing well. We Are the Champions. So I think this is a very this really fits them, because if you have, and you know that from William, if you have this success, it really blows your mind. It's simply cool. If you have something, a cool technology, if you have something that can change things in reality, is simply outstanding. And I think this is a really good choice from Queen.
Yeah, I love that choice. We're actually going to see a Queen tribute band next week here in California. And I sort of put your 2 choices as sort of entrepreneurial motivation songs. And when you made your first choice, I'm like just thinking which one would be mine. And it was actually that one, We Are the Champions. It's the one that you play on the way to a challenging meeting, or where you're going to do a big presentation.
It's perfect for that. It's really engaging, and really puts you in the right mood, I think. That's something like
very good. And what's number 3?
It's even from Queen, Who Wants to Live Forever. It's when you reach it, you're thinking, what is it for? Did I really change something? Is it really something the world will use? It will remember you? Most likely not. But so it's this Who Wants to Live Forever. I also love this Highlander movies. I watched all of them, I think. Also the series that was running up and down in Germany. So I love that.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's great. Well, I love those movies too. And my getting to sleep listening is the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. I think, what you describe sort of fits into that kind of Stoic philosophy, which I'm an admirer of. So very good. Well, thanks so much, Karsten. It's been a real pleasure having you on the show, and I'm so glad we got a chance to talk.
Steve, thank you very much for having me here. It was really engaging and really interesting discussion. I love it to be on podcast and to bring out the story that there is so much things you can learn from experienced people. I love to hear such stories, and it really inspires me every day, and I learn everything something every day. That's cool.
I love listening, and I love making as well. So thanks for joining us.
Steve, thank you very much for having me. It was a great, good discussion. Love that. Thank you.
So great conversation with Karsten. Bit of behind the scenes insights. Karsten's, as you may have picked up, a regular listener to this podcast. He contacted me at the beginning of the week, suggested that we talk about what he's doing. And so it's Friday, and we recorded the episode. So if you know of someone or are someone that you think has a story that people that are focused on ambient IoT would benefit from hearing, then do reach out for me. We love to interview major leaders in industry and the head of standards organizations, but we also love practitioners, whether you're a vendor or a user of the technology. So get in touch. I do have some thanks to give. Well, one is to thank and wish well to the crew of Artemis 2 and everyone that's got them to where they are. It's Friday afternoon here, the 10th of April. Tammy, my wife, and I were going to go and drive to the coast. It's about 20 minutes away here in San Diego, and hopefully we'll see that capsule entering into the atmosphere and landing safely. I really think we are, in many ways, in the best of times and the worst of times, to quote Charles Dickens. There's some really terrible things going on in the world. The war in Iran is obviously a tragedy, no matter what your political leanings are. So we hope for peace and prosperity and happiness for everybody. I want to thank our two sponsors. I don't thank them enough because without them, we wouldn't be able to record this show. So thanks to Bleakon and to Identiv, who pay the money that pays to keep this show on the road. Thanks to Aaron Hammock, who edits it, and thank you, most of all, to you for showing up and staying to the end, listening or watching. Please do what you can to help us, whether that's a rating on whatever platform it is you're using, or telling a friend, or letting me know about what you'd like to see change or be added. All your feedback is really appreciated. So until next time, enjoy the journey. Thanks for watching this episode of the Mr. Beacon Ambient IoT podcast. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please like and share this video, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss further episodes. For more information about our sponsors, head over to blecon.net, identiv.com, and ambientChat.ai.